Hello, this is Dawn Takacs. I'm coming to you from downtown Pittsburgh today. This podcast is the point where we talk everything wedding planning in the city of Pittsburgh and beyond. And today I have an incredibly talented wedding planner with me. Her name is Emily Meili of Events by Emily. She has an Italian heart and a discerning eye. I think that's a great combination for events and weddings. Emily, thank you so much for joining me today. Please say hello.
Oh my goodness, what an intro, Dawn. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here.
So happy to have you. And I'm ready to just dive right in. I've got some basic questions for you. I want to start off with letting our Pittsburgh brides get to know you a little bit. So I wanted to know, I know you've been a successful planner for a while now. You just celebrated 5 years.
We did, yes. Yeah. Yep.
Congratulations on that. That's a major milestone with any business.
Thanks. Yeah.
And they say like 3, 5, and 10, right, are the years that you
Yep.
want to hit, that there's going to be longevity there. Tell me what personal passions brought you to this journey in your life as a wedding planner.
I just have that where I want to help people. And as cliche as it sounds, like I was once a bride a long time ago. And what kind of drove this is there were some things that happened that day where I personally didn't have a planner. Yikes. We had a venue coordinator, but there were some things that went wrong. It was still a beautiful, perfect day, but some things, for instance, our venue didn't have very good cell phone reception. So the girls who were getting ready were in a couple different locations. We weren't able to get a hold of them. So pictures were delayed. Another thing was there was a reroute that day there was a road closure and my makeup artist got lost. My fiance had to go and pick her up. A lot of the people missed the beginning of my ceremony. So I felt stressed. I wish I had somebody in that moment to kind of calm me down. I just feel like, that's something that would have really helped. So after that, I took some time to think about this and I got started actually with another company just kind of doing coordination. Loved it so much. And then that kind of catapulted more planning stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. But I've always loved to host parties and events. And it's something that I think that, no two are the same. It's fun. And then especially whenever you do feel appreciated, it's just such a great thing.
Bottom line, that is so huge. And don't you love it when you get cards in the mail from your couples
Yes.
or
Yeah.
notes from them? It's
Yes.
because
I save
because
everyone.
absolutely, because it's a passion for involvement that makes us do what we do. And it's beyond the monetary benefit. It is, I executed, I got them through it, I got them home. And I say this often in conversations that we have. You could be a type A personality and you could have your binder and you could have everything organized and you're like, I'm planning the perfect wedding. What I think the brides don't understand is what you just spoke to. You don't know what can and will go wrong. It's the unexpected, and that's where the professional comes in, and that's why they're needed. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. Something will go wrong. It's just, is it going to actually affect you? How minute is that? We try to minimize that, but yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell everyone I'm a fireman. I put out fires. As long as no one knows there was a fire, it's a good day. Because it was like you said, it's like traffic, it's delays, it's weather, it's human
Yeah.
behavior is a big one. That's the one that people just they don't even register that, mom's going to forget something, dad's going to forget to mark something down, somebody's going to forget a credit card. Things are going to happen that are just so beyond your control. And having a person there that knows how to handle those things and those issues is so invaluable. I want to move on to the next question. And I try to ask this of all of my talents that I speak with that are working really closely with the clients. Everybody has a hidden gift or a hidden superpower. What's yours?
I would say my flex is timelines. We're just so good at nailing things down, sometimes to the minute. I get complimented a lot from other vendors on our timeline construction. I also, though, I am obsessed with like decor and design and just making sure that that's seamlessly integrated through the event. But yeah, so those two things for sure.
And you definitely have that discerning eye. I was not
Thank
understating
you.
that when I spoke. Like when you look at your Instagram and you see the events that you've executed, Wow, they're just breathtaking. You should be really proud of your journey for the last 5 years, how far that you've come.
That's
Really,
kind
really
of,
proud,
thank
woman to
you.
woman. Like, I love seeing
Appreciate
that.
that.
You have definitely set yourself, and I know that you use the term luxe in luxury in your planning process. There's a couple little different definitions of that, in my opinion, but you definitely hit the mark with that in everything that you do.
It's funny, Dawn, because I actually kind of hate the word luxe because it has sometimes a negative connotation to it, right? Like people think, oh, they think that they're up here, and that's really not what it is. I also think it's overused a lot. So, what I'm trying to do is keep this more like boutique approach, right? Like, we're only taking on so many now because we have to give couples that, undivided attention. So, when we say luxe, there's not necessarily a dollar sign on that, although there could be, right? It's more like we want this experience just to be so above and beyond that there's no doubt in your mind. Like,
Yeah.
like you're going to have like the best day. And like, there's, no one's going to be able to make you feel better about this. So that's kind of where I stand with that. But I don't actually use that a lot in my branding anymore because of that. But yeah.
From my perspective, I see Lux as, when you go to the spa and you get a pedicure and they have like the three different ones that you can choose from.
Yeah.
The Lux is service based. Like you're paying for the service, you're paying to be serviced. And this generation, I believe, is one all about service. They love their, meals being delivered to them. They want their apps to have the meals on their doorstep, whether it's from the restaurant or from delivery service and Amazon. This generation, it used to be many, many years ago, the milk and the eggs were delivered to your door. And then there was a shift. And now we've returned to that in this industry, or this generation above all preceding ones, except for back in the 60s. I think they love to be serviced. And I think that's exactly the mark that you hit, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yes, they don't want to have to make the calls. They don't want to have to, be emailing back and forth. They want to be able to spend time with their girlfriends, their fiance, and just worry about the things they have to worry about. So yes. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. 100% on that one. Okay, let me see. Where are we at? Next question. Who needs a wedding planner?
Can I answer a question with the question? Who needs a planner or who needs a coordinator?
Oh, that's a great, great question coming back. There is a difference. And would you like to define that?
Yes. I think every couple, in my opinion, needs a coordinator, someone who is not only going to be the point of contact before the weddings and on the day of, but also someone to vouch for the couple. Certain vendors can be really pushy. For instance, let's say we need an extra 15 minutes for photos because the bus was delayed, but the catering chef, isn't very happy about that. And he's saying we can't do that, but we know if we don't take that couple out now for photos, it's just not going to happen. They're
Right.
going to be unhappy. On the flip side of that, let's say that the couple says no more than 30 minutes for photos. We know we're going to be tapped out, but the photographer keeps saying, oh, 5 more minutes, and that turns into 20. We're going to put a hard stop to that because you need to be there for that. So, coordination there's so much more to it than just making sure things are executed. You're really there for the couple. A planner does that, but the planner does so much more beforehand. So, they're making sure that you're, choosing the correct vendors based on budget, based on their personality and style. We're doing design concepts and executing that for you, making sure we are like, checking things off the list, that you're getting things done accordingly. So that's the difference. I would say that if you don't have time to make your planning a second job and you're having, a decent sized wedding, you probably need a planner.
I love that answer because that's so true. And I think what a lot of people take for granted is that the wedding planner is also involved in the bridal shower and the rehearsal dinner and, you know, planning out, not just the vendors, but, how the logistics from getting from one building to the other and all of those things. I hear a lot of brides often say, well, my venue coordinator at the venue is going to be my wedding planner. I just did a podcast on that. I was like, I respect and love all of our venue coordinators, but there is a clear difference between
Yeah.
the services of a wedding planner and the responsibilities of a venue coordinator. And I think sometimes the brides, it's like day of coordinator, they get a little bit confused by the definition
Mhm.
of the name of what that means.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in terms of service and output from whomever is delivering that service. If you want to learn more about the differences, make sure to watch that video. I'm going to pop it up for them so that they can learn because, yes, wedding planners, I believe the best way for me, my thoughts on a wedding planner is an advocate. They are your advocate. They are your person for everything involved, everything that goes through, not just that day, but, all the way through that wedding journey. I think no one really else fits into that category. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, not a vendor. I mean, you could have a friend or a parent, but like then that kind of they can't enjoy themselves the same way, you know?
Correct, correct, correct. And you want the people that you love to celebrate with you and embrace and enjoy. You don't want them working,
Right.
right?
Right. You're right.
All right. Number 4, what's something most couples don't realize they need until they need it, but an experienced wedding planner would know?
I don't know if there's one thing in particular, unless we are talking about a coordinator or planner, but I do hear on a lot of consults couples saying, like, they'll say things like, oh, I didn't realize that I needed that. I never thought of that before. It just comes naturally since I've done so many weddings. But if couples don't always know what to ask their venue or their vendors, they might be unpleasantly surprised on wedding day, and no one wants that. I don't know if there's one thing, but
Yeah. Well, and a wedding planner will help them say what, solve all those issues before they start if they
that's
hire
kind
them
of
early
right.
on. Yeah. I think that's maybe the answer to that question is you don't realize that you need a wedding planner until you're too far in the game and it's third and, 20 to go. And you're like, holy cow. Maybe I should have hired a wedding planner early on, or at least interviewed a few, to review everything that I'm doing and see how I felt about that. Because I don't think you know that you need it until you need it. It's like insurance.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good way to put it. I like that. But it's so true because I can't tell you how many people have hired us with 3 months to go and they still want almost like full planning or partial planning or design. And we're like, "Ooh, we got to put this together so fast." But yeah, yeah.
But you can do it. You can do
Wait,
it. I know
we
you
can.
can do it. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. I hate when people call me. Like, I have a really good friend and she has a bad habit of doing this. And she'll call me and she's like, hey, I got to plan my husband's 50th birthday party. And I'm like, when is it? And she's like, 20 days. And so fast forward 2 years later, she calls me. She says, Dawn, I have to plan a wedding for my
Yeah.
son. And I was like, okay. And she's like, in 21 days. We did the birthday party in 20 days. We can do a wedding in 20 days, 21 days, right?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, actually, I think I called you on that one. I think I did. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
help. Yeah, she decided not to go with the planner. The venue coordinator helped her, but like people really just don't have an idea of the scope of work that goes into planning. But I want to give you a moment to reflect. You've been in the business for 5 years. And I want you to tell me a moment that you had where you stopped and you took note and you kind of inventoried yourself as a professional and you looked and you said, I'm really glad that I was here for this wedding. I'm really glad that I was able to help this couple. Tell me about that moment, a little bit about the moment and how you felt as a planner.
I had one last fall where it was kind of that situation, like I just mentioned. They had called me probably only 6 weeks before the wedding. They wanted coordination and they wanted design. Um, and I had some time like in my schedule, but I was still, worried. But it was like the best decision. I'm so glad that I went forward with it because they were just so grateful, the sweetest people. They just kept thanking me on that day. I felt just like, it was just such a great feeling and just such a great moment. Another part of this would just be a growth in general is knowing that I have a team behind me. It takes a while, I think, to build that up for people that, you're not just asking random people, like you have your go-to ladies, your go-to people that that'll stand behind you and they'll assist you on the day of. And I think that's just, we have this mutual respect for each other. And I love them so much and I'm so grateful to have them. So that was another moment recently that I kind of just, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful to have this. I know I couldn't do all these on my own, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said for we're only as good as our team.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And I am so proud of our team. like some of the people that are with us have been with us for over a decade. And like when I walk in the room, and oftentimes I'm not there until things are already set. And we're talking corporate parties for 1,500 people, right? Sometimes. And when I walk in the room and I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah.
First, you've learned my eye. Second, you've got respect for the client and the venue and coordinating with all of them and delivering as expected. And I've had those moments. One of them was at the West End. We had 21 tables and it was a party for Chevron, and I just stood there and all the tables were full and everybody's laughing and having fun. I just kind of closed my eyes and I listened, because that's what I love about what we do. It's the joy and laughter. I
Oh,
love to hear people having fun.
yeah.
And I said to myself, I was like, this is good. This is not a bad life. I like doing this. This gives me purpose. And I know it's the same for you, that Italian heart, right?
Yes. Yes. I can't help it. Yeah. It is. It's the best. People are always like, oh, you got to be so tired at the end of the night. And I'm like, the end of the night's the best part because you successfully, you know, helped a wedding happen, came to life. They got married at the end of the day. Everyone was happy. I have trouble going to sleep because it's like you're still, like,
Wired.
yeah, you're wired. You're like reliving the day, but like in the
Yeah.
best way. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I get that sometimes. You get amped up. You're driving home. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, we killed it. We
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park. That was
Yeah.
amazing. All those people loved it. And you're just so wired. And you're like, and then you
Yeah.
probably had some sugar from the
Right.
table.
Sugar, cookie, coffee, tea. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then you go to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning and you wake up at like 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. and you're like, what just happened yesterday? Yeah, no,
Yes.
I totally get that. Tell me, so I have my own thoughts on this, but what's the one thing that you love about our 2025 brides? What have you learned this year so far?
I would say that more brides are open to kind of like fun and unique ideas with like their like the experience of everything. They're not so like stuffy or stuck to some traditional things. So I think that's what I'm most excited for.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I love, because you are a part of the creative process and the design process, so you see more of this, before the actual day comes, game day. And when we come in sometimes to weddings, I don't have privilege to anything because we're a vendor, and I walk in and I go, "Wow. Wow. I love the wow. I love that these brides have taken ownership of their weddings and said, I know tradition, mom. I know tradition, dad, but this is what I want. I want to wear a black dress. I want donuts. I don't want a cake. I want mom to walk me down the aisle
Yeah.
because she's my bestie. They are the first generation in years, as long as I've been alive, that have claimed ownership of their wedding and said, I want it my way, our
Yeah.
way. Love
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
love that it makes our job interesting. Not so much for you, but for us, we walk in and we're like, what delightful new thing do they have that we get to be a part of and see firsthand?
Oh yeah. No, I love it too because it just, the same kind of thing we've had. We've had a bride who wore this gorgeous blue dress where they forego a bridal party, but that way the bridal party or their friends can relax and actually not have to worry about all the formalities. Just there's so many cool things. I love it.
I've noticed a trend, and you can tell me what your thoughts are on this, but lately I've had 4 weddings this year where the ceremony was one day, private, smaller ceremony, immediate family, and then a big party the next day, like a 4-hour rad party, whether it's a garden party or industrial type vibe or whatever it is. But I'm seeing
Yeah.
this split. Have you seen this?
I have one like that in 2026, but not so far. I have, let me think here. Did we have any that didn't have ceremonies? What sometimes people will do is they'll have like a traditional Catholic ceremony if they're going that route like the day before, but then on the day of, they'll do something super quick. But yeah, next year I'm having one that's similar to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is shift, a little bit of a shift happening where it's about the experience for the guests and that they're really trying to create a dynamic experience for the guests. They want to have their private moments. I could be wrong on this, but 4 of them in one year is a lot,
That
right?
is a
That kind
lot.
of
Yeah.
that flags to me and says, okay,
That's
there's probably a couple reasons for that. Maybe budget is one of them. I hear a lot that it's about the experience, that they're
Mhm.
really wanting to create an experience for their guests, whether that experience is food or signature drinks or,
Yeah.
entertainment of some sort that's unique and different. And on that note, tell me, do you have any traditions or trends that you love, hate, tired of, anything? Come on, spill the tea.
I would say sometimes like when a bride will do like a first look with a lot of people, because it seems to just kind of get like I've seen them where they do a first look with the whole bridal party, their dad, their dog, their brother. I think when they try to overdo it and they squeeze so many things, it kind of loses its sentiment. They don't have time to really process it. Yeah, and recently I planned my son Roman's fourth birthday, and I was so excited. He wanted to invite his class. I came up with all these games and thought, oh, this is going to be really cool. I came up with prizes, games, balloons filled with candy, did all these things. And these kids like could care less. They just wanted to like talk and play with each other, run around. There was a playground. We did all the games, but no sooner was I like decorating, I turn around and it's like the last kid's leaving. I'm like, I didn't get to enjoy that. And if you translate that into the wedding world,
Yeah.
don't have so many things to where you're not going to enjoy it. Like you're stuffing so much into one day. And I know it's like, oh, but it's only one day. But that's the whole thing. Leave that some time so you can absorb it because it's a whirlwind. So,
100%. I'm with you on that. One of mine from the same space, the same philosophy is when they have the speeches that are nonstop.
oh,
And
yeah, we say toast. We say literally 3 minute toast. It's not a speech because we need to get through. People want to, get their dinner and stuff. And it's, yeah, yeah.
it's not just that, like, and for the weddings that I've seen where they do multiple speeches and, the best man, the maid of honor, the dad, the mom, and it goes back and forth. And then that one person gets the mic in their hand and they like it and they don't want to give it.
Oh, they want to hear themselves talk. You mean?
And then you watch the energy just drain.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
physically see people or it's been a hot day. They did the ceremony, they did cocktail hour, they're waiting for their salad, they're waiting for their food. And if people sit for too long, you can see they're becoming lethargic and they're trying to pay attention. They're trying not to look at their phone. And so I'm with you. 2 minute toast. I love that.
Mhm.
I want to do more weddings with you because there are just moments my husband just looks at me and he's like, it's 45 minutes of speeches. Don't you think these people are hungry? And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, honey, but that's what they wanted. And then sometimes it's been a long journey and maybe somebody wants to share that journey on the other hand, with whomever, but I'm with you on that. All right. I got to ask you this because you are one of the wedding planners that I know that's a mom. And Roman, he is 4 or 5.
Yeah. He's four. Yeah.
Okay. And so, children at weddings, there's all kinds of opinions on this. And I'm not so much thinking of the opinion, but, some feedback from you as a wedding planner. What creative ideas or thoughts do you have when people are planning to have children for their wedding? Is there maybe venues that are more appropriate, or do you make a swag bag for the kids? Tell me something that you do that's
So there are services that have sitters where they can come and almost like entertain your kids. And I would say that there's definitely a place for that. I think that depending on the venue, kind of like you said, I think coloring books and crayons are great. I think, but the other part of this is how old are we talking with the kids? Because, I would say if we're talking toddlers, it's really hard. I think that at a certain time, like they have to go back to the hotel or, we need a sitter or something because then the parents can't enjoy themselves. The kids aren't going to really be eating the food. They're not, there's just so many aspects to that. Plus, parents want a night out, like a date night, a lot of times. I think that that's so it could go either way. But if you are going to have kids and especially young kids, I would definitely look into services for that.
agreed, agreed. And I think it becomes difficult for the couples when maybe they're doing that. They want to have them there for the ceremony and then have someone take them afterwards. But then somebody wants to bring a child, and then that becomes complicated sometimes for them as well. It's not easy waters to navigate when you're doing a guest list, correct?
That's right. That's right. It's
You
not.
have to plan ahead and you have to think of some of these things.
Yep.
What's the one thing that couples spend too much time or energy on that effectively doesn't really matter much? And on the flip side, What are the things that you wish every couple would do that they would prioritize more instead of, one of those things?
That's a great question. I think it really depends. I've seen it in all areas. I would say, kind of how we said earlier, as a general statement, maybe don't have too many activities. Focus on maybe like one or two. For instance, you're not going to want to have a live painter, a photo booth, an ice sculpture, strolling musicians. Like that's going to be too much. So I would say, focus on those things and just really sit down with your fiance when you're in the beginning stages of planning and say, what are our non-negotiables? What are the things that we really want to focus on? And kind of just go from there. Prioritize those things.
I love that. That's a great answer. When my husband and I bought our house, we were struggling with our first house because he wanted this and I wanted that. And we both finally decided, okay, what's your five must haves? These are his five must haves.
Yep.
Okay, so no, we're not going to say yes to any house unless it has
Mhm.
equal on both sides. And I mean, it's about compromise. You're getting married, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yes.
and so economy strained. Everybody's budget friendly. And I talked a little bit about this in this podcast that we did, the venue coordinator versus the wedding planner, about I believe that if you bring a wedding planner on early, they actually save you money
Yep.
as opposed whatever they cost you, you will save in the value of the time and the value of the savings they can bring to you, offering you things that are probably maybe less, or just even looking at your contract and saying, you really don't need all of this.
Mhm.
There's $3,000 here, that type of thing. But tell me your go to immediately when you're looking at things and they're talking budget and they want to save money. What's some ideas that you have for some of our brides that
Sure.
immediately come to mind?
So if we're looking at something such as this aesthetics, I'll just go to that, like decor wise. Um, like for instance, flowers. Instead of trying to dress all of the tables with florals, because florals are a really big expense, find focal points. Focal points would be behind your sweetheart table if you're having that, maybe on the by the bar seating chart, and put the majority of your flowers and your budget for decor there, because those are also where guests are going to kind of like congregate. You're going to see those pictures. Every single table doesn't need to have, you can do candles, you can do other things. So that's always a good tip. And then we kind of help them figure that out.
Love it. That's a great tip. Emily, so thank you for answering all of my questions today. I know that you offer different tiers of services on your website. I saw that you do management and design, comprehensive planning, and management only. And
Uh-huh.
what I want to ask is if you can kind of define that based on, who's the right fit for each one of those packages if you're looking at a couple and you want to try and bring that together for them so they can help determine what best suits their needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wedding management is similar to coordination in that you already have all of your vendors, you've nailed your design down and your decor, but you need someone to coordinate the day of and just kind of help you manage some things. Probably like 90 days out is what we typically do. So, it is sometimes a little bit more than your typical day of coordination services. Wedding management and design is like that, but also with the design aspects. So maybe you don't have a great vision on how everything's going to be placed, how you want to bring everything together. You want to ensure that the design is cohesive throughout. You might also need some help with signage, place settings, things like that. So that's wedding management and design. Comprehensive planning, it can start the moment after you're engaged. Doesn't have to, but it can. We help you choose your venue, choose your vendors based on several factors. We help you track your budget, help you come up with an awesome design, and we execute everything.
From A to Z, all the way from getting the bling to flying off on their honeymoon, right?
Yes, that's it. Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And if you're interested in having, do you do like a complimentary Zoom call with clients or a phone call
Oh,
with
yeah,
them?
absolutely. Yeah. So we recommend that our first conversation be through Zooms. Every time a client emails us, we do say, let's hop on a Zoom call. Let's figure out what your needs are and what we can do for you.
That's important because that person's going to be spending a lot of time with you. They're going to become your advocate for your wedding day. You want to get to know them. You want to make sure you vibe, right? And vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to make sure that we're feeling each other. All right. If you're interested in booking a call with Emily, you can contact her at Events by Emily M, and Emily is spelled EMILYM.com. And I'm going to drop that in the links for you as well. Or you can find her at pittsburghbrides.com. That's one of the easy ways to find her. She's there. And you should check out her Instagram because it is magnificent. When you see the work that she does. And if you
Oh my
send me some
gosh.
pictures, I'll throw
Thank you.
some of them in here. You truly are incredibly talented. I'm so proud of you. 5 years, this journey, like you are just a rock star in your world. If you're considering hiring a wedding planner, you definitely should have a Zoom call and chat with Emily and her team. She's got a whole team now. That's how much she's grown. I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Emily.
Oh my
Thank you.
gosh, thank you. You're so sweet. This was great. I appreciate it. And what you're doing is amazing too. I'm so glad we're, bringing this community together and all the things that you're hosting. I'm so happy to be a part of it. Sincerely, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You've been there since the beginning, right? When you started your journey, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Pretty much. So, this is Dawn. I'm signing off from the Point Podcast, downtown Pittsburgh, where we talk all things wedding. And I'm so lucky to have Emily with me here today. But we're going to sign off and we're going to wish you goodbye, goodwill, happy
Bye.
wedding planning journey. And if you need anything, you can go to pittsburghbrides.com if you're searching for vendors. And or if you got any value from this video, please give us a like, subscribe, thumbs up. Any of those things helps keep our channel growing so that we can help future couples.